So today we are talking about the Total Gut Restoration Program. So we've got Nate here from Microbiome Labs and Dr. Injun Chung from Reveal Wellness. And so thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So can you tell us about what does it mean to recondition the GI tract? Where do we want to start?
Yeah. Well, I think, before we even get into reconditioning the GI tract, it's important to talk about what is the microbiome.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of misinformation about what does that even mean?
Yeah. 100%. What role does the microbiome play in health and what is it, right? So it's trillions of different organisms, bugs, particularly microbes, some fungi, some viruses mixed in there. And they all play this role of hopefully symbiosis. Unfortunately, a lot of times due to the American lifestyle, it can kind of go off the track.
Right? Absolutely. I know when we did a stool test here for patients, it comes back and it's like a desert out there. There's a lot of bad guys floating around.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, where are the good guys at? And they're not there.
One thing that'd be beneficial for the audience to understand too is what does that word symbiosis mean, Nate?
Yeah. Symbiosis, or directly when we're referring to the microbiome, eubiosis, refers to when you have a microbiome that's in a good place, has all the right bugs at the right ratios, doing the right things.
That's important to understand and differentiate for most of you viewers out there that might not understand this information we're providing here, because if you don't understand what you're trying to support, you may be misled into getting products that not necessarily the best for you to help your system recalibrate and optimize.
Yeah, when I look at it and patients are coming in and they're coming into the pharmacy, they're going to be on a lot of disruptive pharmaceuticals. We see this all the time. Somebody comes in for a simple antibiotic for an ear infection or something to that nature. We have an employee that just came back. She got strep throat, so she's on a Z-Pack.
Yeah.
It's like the pharmacist where she got her traditional medicine even talk about gut health? Probably not, hopefully, but yeah. So this is where I think functional medicine, functional pharmacy can play a significant role in getting those patients, getting them to understand that these pharmaceuticals, yes, they might be, they're certainly, especially with a strep throat, we want that person to become septic, all right? So, but we want to recondition their GI tract so that we can have that preventative effect so that downstream, she doesn't come back and now she's got some kind of IBS issues that she's dealing with because the strep isn't there, but now she's wiped out all the good guys in her GI tract.
Yeah. Well, that's where we're this to fill that gap, that knowledge gap. And that's why we're together today, to share that with you guys so you can fill in that gap and have that understanding as you're a consumer of these things, knowing what we're trying to truly do, what we're trying to accomplish with this stuff, right? And especially the pharmacists kind of fill in that space in between of restoring or restoration.
That's right. Yeah. So I think it's important that, there's so many probiotics out there. I think, for the general consumer, it's like, well, I'm just going to grab the cheapest thing on the shelf.
Yeah.
Well, I think in the and you can speak to this more, but in the probiotic world or the spore-biotic world, what does that even mean? And why am I going to pay, 2 or 3 times the amount for a spore-based probiotic compared to just, lactobacillus acidophilus, which a lot of people know? Because let's be honest, in the consumer world, there's so many products out there that, it's added probiotic, what does that even mean now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think people are just getting marketed to and just sold something that's not even at a clinical effective level to make a change in their GI tract.
100%.
Well, at least it starts the story.
Yeah, exactly. Probiotics and just taking kind of their own market now, right? And you throw probiotics in or on something, you might not even be throwing in nearly a therapeutic amount, but because you put probiotics on there now that product in a consumer's eye is so much better because, it's got probiotics.
So it's supposed to mean something.
That's right.
Yeah. So I'm going to pay 20% more for that product when it's marketing.
Marketing. Exactly. It's marketing. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So can you speak more to like what does set off the differentiating probiotic, or I should say the spore-biotic with Microbiome Labs? What's the key there?
Yeah. So at Microbiome Labs, we were the first company that came out with a spore-based, or as I like to really refer to it by their genus, or kind of like their family, bacillus probiotics. So you mentioned for a long time we've had lactobacillus. Yep. These bacillus had been used and frankly had been used in Europe really since the 1940s. Wow. Unfortunately, here in the U.S., we kind of moved away from them for other reasons. And it was
slow adopters.
They weren't necessarily a pharmaceutical drug. There could be a lot of different reasons, but at the end of the day, our co-founders back about 20 years ago said, hey, we should bring these to the U.S. they did that. They formulated looking for a unique blend of different species. These blend of species, they more or less tried to mimic how are these spores when they're found in nature, how do they really work together, and what different amounts of those probiotics are found, right?
Yep. So my understanding from your educating me coming into the pharmacy, and thank you for that, by the way,
Of course.
is that, and our pharmacy staff as well, is these spores, I think of them like they've got this protective shell around them, right?
Yeah.
And they're more viable. They get through the stomach acid bath, essentially,
Yep.
and get into the small and large intestine where they can actually flourish and do the positive effects that we want them to do.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So yeah, when we say spore, that can sound a little intimidating. All that's really referring to is their ability to form what we call an endospore around themselves. It's something they form. It's almost like the protective shell you mentioned, coating, that when they're in an environment where they can no longer grow, aka, they're pooped out by someone, they form this endospore, they go to sleep, and essentially they wait until something else would eat them again, or in this case, till you take your probiotics. And then when they get through that stomach acid, that harsh acidic environment, they're able to then sense they're in the small bowel, crack open that shell, and actually show up there alive.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Because I've sold probiotics. I started with Florigen and some of these local companies in Wisconsin, and with limited success.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with those. There's some really great lacto, bifido, Florigen might work great for someone. Some of those strains might work great, but the consistency that is seen with spore-based probiotics is much higher, where you're much more likely to see that clinical effect versus what we've seen in the past with some of those, more traditional probiotics.
Quality matters.
Quality matters. Makes a big difference.
Yeah. And then once we get those probiotics down into the right environment at the right concentration, how do we get them to stay there, and how do we get them to grow?
Yeah. So once they're there, another really unique feature of these bacillus probiotics is they actually are able to kind of sense who's a good guy, who's a bad guy. More or less, they do a microbial handshake. Near the bad guys, they actually secrete antimicrobials. So they almost kind of work like a smart antibiotic, or, in the world that we live in now, an AI-based antibiotic, right? They know who's good, who's bad.
Yeah.
They kill off the bad, thereby kind of reconditioning the soil, making the soil more viable for the guys we do want to grow, the good guys, the Akkermansia, the bifido, the lacto you mentioned, to grow. And therefore, then you want to bring in a lot of prebiotics. That's really the key, where when you listen to these microbiome experts, they're all talking about prebiotics. So nuts, seeds, undigestible fibers, things that come from fruits and vegetables. Getting that in is really going to then provide the fertilizer to allow those good microbes that we want to be there to start growing back. So
Plant the seeds and then put down the fertilizer.
put down the fertilizer, water that garden.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's very good information, because that's one of the things that, again, the patients will come into the pharmacy and they'll say, well, how long do I have to be on this probiotic for? Well, it could take some time. Right?
Yeah.
Great. As we know with our lawns in Wisconsin here, everyone's trying to fertilize right now and get things going. And it's like, well, it takes time. It's not gonna be a quick fix overnight by any means. But if you do it right, you can essentially, we're trying to manage symptoms. And that's, from my end of it, is like, okay, this patient comes in with IBS or some kind of Crohn's or some type of issue going on, chronic diarrhea, even constipation, right? Can go both ways.
Yeah.
And they do a stool test or something, and they're very dysbiotic, and they've got a lot of bad bacteria going on, or an overgrowth of fungi in their GI tract. I'm trying to find out what's the best tool to fix that problem for them.
Yeah.
So I think a spore-based probiotic is probably the better way to go. And then to feed that, once that's established itself in the small and large intestine.
Yeah. And that's what we typically recommend. Usually, it's going to be patient by patient. Like you said, if there's a history, probably going to need a little bit longer. But traditionally, what we kind of recommend is at least 3 months of full treatment, taking the full dose. And then from there, just because, again, we live in a pretty toxic society. Our food's covered in a lot of herbicides and pesticides, things that are constantly wreaking havoc on our microbiome. So typically, we just recommend taking our Megaspore formula, or Spore-Biotic Plus from MD Customer X, 2 to 3 times a week, just more or less as kind of a maintenance to maintain that microbiome in a good, healthy place.
As treatment, we can't call it treatment, but the length of therapy, we'll call it, is critically important as well.
It really is. Yeah. Yeah. It takes time, like you said.
Yep. Very good.
Yeah.
So, and Dr. Chung, how does that play in with, I know with regenerative medicine, like we're regenerating the body. We're starting from square one, I think, in my opinion, of regenerating the gut. Well, how do you see that affect your patients when they go from a dysbiotic GI tract and a lot of inflammation? How does that influence what you do with regenerating all the cells in their body, quite frankly?